Got some Cowboys audio here for you. 3 cuts. Schotty, why offensive participation is so important. Here's the coach.
First couple of days, what we were doing some, team building things, some culture. We've spoken very openly about trying to create one of the greatest cultures in professional sports. Micah is going to be a leader for us. Micah wants to be a leader for us. He's going to do that. And so I felt like it was really important for him to be here to begin that process. And again, it's a voluntary camp, but the fact that he did that means a lot to me. We've been really spending a lot of time this offseason trying to support one another, not just me and Micah, but going to different events and functions and foundation dinners. Osa's had his, Buddy Johnson, had a football camp. Tyler Smith has a football camp. I think if you look at the turnout that we're getting, it's been really high. And that's because we talk about it and we want to support one another. We're a family. And so when people have something like a foundation dinner event, they have a football camp, if it's important to them, then the objective and the goal should be to have as many of your family members there as possible. And of course, I'm speaking about our teammates.
Love the idea of trying to build the greatest culture in professional sports. I think it can be the biggest difference maker because people are just going to fight harder and play better and work harder when they believe in each other and they've bought into each other and they feel a sense of responsibility. So I love that Schotty is tackling that. Now, I need to apologize because I need to get some readers. I need to get the reading glasses.
Oh, no.
Or I need to get the late. I read off-season participation as offensive participation. So when I set that cut up,
hey,
I needed to zoom in about 10 or 20x in order to be able to read that.
We want the offensive participation
aren't your texts naturally big, though? Didn't you make them bigger?
Yeah, but Wolchuk sent me an image of the Cowboys audio that we had.
Of the cuts and sent it to him.
So he's blaming you for his...
No, I'm blaming myself. I should have magnified
Feels like
that.
he's looking in the mirror right now.
I can take the blame.
I don't know, but he kind of said that Wolchuk sent him something that wasn't up to spec.
That was an explanation, not an excuse. Did you feel offended? Did you feel thrown under the bus on that one, Wolchuk?
No offense taken at all.
I don't know why Brian's trying to stir stuff up over here.
Watchdogging, Brian.
I just was curious because Dawson immediately said, well, it was Wolchuk that sent me the not perfect text that I couldn't read because it wasn't up to snuff.
I should have put your name in there.
No, you're good. I wanted to try and print it for him so it would have been bigger, but for whatever reason, I don't think I've got Word on my login on that computer. So I just was like, the quickest thing to fix this.
Got canted strings,
just take a pic,
shoot it on over.
Just take a pic ski.
I look forward to seeing you in your readers, though.
Oh, shoot, man.
In the near future.
I don't.
I mean, get that taken care of.
You might look good.
Handle it.
No. I don't think there's any.
We got to work this LASIK deal.
I mean, I think turning 50 years old and getting the readers, that might be a double whammy. It's
a tough sell for the ladies.
You also did LASIK, didn't you?
Yeah, I did LASIK like 20 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. Mine faded.
I could definitely go for a tune-up because they can put the little insert in there that gives you the reader potential along with the 20/20 from distance. CeeDee Lamb on working with Pickens for years. Here he is at OTAs.
I mean, we started off when I want to say it was his combine prep and everything, and we was out in Atlanta just getting right, grinding. I mean, we were students of the game, still is, but I was giving him the little things that I learned as far as my first year in the league, and just passed him what I could while I could, and I mean, it's crazy how things come full circle. Having him on the team now is, catching up on everything that we left off.
It is pretty cool how a lot of these guys around the league get together. They have the same, specialized coaches that they can work with in the off season. They're hanging out in different areas of the country where they can kind of get together and kind of iron sharpens iron type of deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good thing to have some of that relationship there with Lamb and Pickens because you want to do everything in your power to avoid the friction that could come if either one of those guys is putting up numbers and the other one's not, especially if the team is losing. That's where I think this could get bad, is if the team is struggling in the wins and losses and then one of these guys is not really getting the targets or the production that he feels like he should be. That's when I think this could be combustible, but it's nice that they have some level of a history.
Okay, and then this might be the most important thing of the offseason. Like, you got 2-1s now, and CeeDee on the benefit of doing that.
We can complement each other. If he's tired, I can guarantee you I'm not. So just being his backbone and being here for him and letting him know that he got some help on the other side for sure. That's a dog and that's willing to win, and I'm going to do everything in my power to do that. As we all know, the show don't stop for sure.
So what happens if it's so good that you want to keep these guys together, you can't let Pickens leave?
Yeah.
It would have to be which player moves on. And I think with this Micah Parsons negotiation dragging out, and the fact that they reinvested in the line, Ezra Raku, Sam Williams, Nealon, Micah's going to get done?
I think it's going to get done.
I think Micah's going to get done.
I think the one you need to think about is, could you lose Bland?
Bland
Or can you lose maybe Diggs, too?
Diggs for sure.
Happen either way.
Yeah, I think Diggs is just too injured to be worth the money.
I think that's where it's going to come from. To be honest with you.
I really believe if Trayvon hadn't gotten hurt, he'd have been a name that they would have tried to shop this offseason.
So they've reloaded at corner with Ravel. You could let Bland and Diggs go. Say we got Ravel and maybe draft another guy next year.
Yeah, got to keep going.
Yeah, because you have to find that money somewhere. If George Pickens is so good, you're like, holy cow, that was the best Dak we'd ever seen. We actually just had to get him 2 studs, and now he is on another level, and we had a top 5 offense. You wouldn't be able to let that go.
You pay your pass rush, so you got him, and then you got Ezra Raku potentially. And who else is going to show up in that group? There might be Sam Williams, might be. So all of a sudden you're thinking pass rush helps corners, so maybe you could get by if you have to. I know
maybe Marshawn Nealon takes another step with his pass rush.
I think him and Turner are kind of the same guy. And I say this in a way of run defenders.
Yeah, setting the edge. Which, gosh, it's been a desperate need.
Yeah. Left ends more than right ends. How about that?
I feel you.
Pickens did have a great quote this week. He was asked about the narrative that he'd been a locker room issue. He says he's actually a chill guy. There's a big phase of a tornado that's not even true. I don't know what he meant by that. Maybe the middle of the tornado? Like he's calm in the middle of a tornado and everything's spinning around him. Is that what he meant by that?
They call that the eye, right?
Storm. He says, I'm a chill guy and I just love to work. It's definitely a great honeymoon phase. I know the people in Pittsburgh are like, we've never seen George Pickens this happy. Like, if I guess maybe we just had to get him a better quarterback or
change of scenery. The energy.
Change of scenery, the energy. Yes, he talked about the energy as well.
Everyone's talking about the energy. The energy, like Jaden Blue just had a hit with Kay Adams. He's talking about the energy. Kyrie Elam's talking about the energy. Schotty's all about the positivity and the energy. All the beat writers, they go to practice. What's the big difference? Most energetic practice we've been to, more so than anything under Mike McCarthy. So the energy, hey, maybe you're right. Maybe you learned a little something from Pete Carroll. What was Pete Carroll's calling card? The energy.
The energy.
And the chewing gum.
And the gum.
Go out here and have fun. Let's be enthusiastic about the kind of work that we're doing. I hope this works with Schottenheimer because it could be a lot of fun. Nick Harris Star Telegram has a piece up about Pickens drawing rave reviews early on in Dallas and tells the story of Jerry Jones personally calling Dak to give him the good news that they were trading for Pickens. Apparently, Dak had one of those weekend days where you put your phone down for a while and he missed like 6 calls from Jer. And Jer left him a voicemail saying, hey, I got good news for you. I want you to give me a call. So he did, and he's ecstatic. He's over the moon about it.
You're still the highest paid quarterback in the league by a long shot.
yeah. I'm trying to get you some help here. I mean,
they keep lining up behind you. Don't worry about it. You're going to be the number 1 guy for years to come.
Todd Archer worked the angle from this perspective, posting CeeDee Lamb worked out on his own, awaiting a contract a year ago. What's different now that he's back? Quote, the last time I had OTAs in training camp was 2023. Archer writes, what he didn't say is he set team records in catches with 135 yards, 1749, and scored 14 touchdowns in that year. I mean, I think last year your offense was ineffective and inefficient, was incompetent in some ways.
It's truly disgusting.
But did CeeDee Lamb have an impact on that by not being there? If you guys had to measure that or guesstimate how much of an impact that had on causing that train wreck.
There's a lot of disconnect with him and Dak.
Yeah, it was palpable. It was obvious. And it's weird to think that just one training camp or OTA would throw that off when that's a quarterback and wide receiver duo that was off their best season the year before, and they'd been working together for years. But you can't help but think that had something to do with it. But everything was just a tick off. I mean, Dak was just bad in general. The offense was super conservative in general. They were playing scared with their offensive line the entire way. And so the whole thing was just sort of a note off. And I'm sure the Lamb absence contributed to it. But everything was just bad last year.
It was brutal, and I hope George Pickens can fix it. I hope this culture, this enthusiasm, and a good running game can set this thing up for success because it is time, after a couple. But I think they might be, guys, if I had to pick it, I would say 2026 is going to be their year. When you look at their opponents, how the schedule sets up, I think it's two of the worst divisions in the NFL in 2026.
Oh, really? You get the Souths?
I think you get the AFC South and the NFC West.
I'm going to get into this at 340.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, because this is a bad year to be playing who you're playing.
Okay, so that's my assumption, is that you might have just too much stacked up with Overshown and Diggs and youth, but you give this thing one more year and a better schedule break, and I think we might be riding in 2026.